I'll be in the middle.
And we are live. Welcome back to the LOI Fan TV live show, the first one of these. But of course, it's still cautiously optimistic. I am joined by Socko and Tig today. Lads, how are we keeping?
Tig. Couldn't be Tig now. Oh my god.
We'll restart.
Oh my lord. Like,
this is live TV.
How would you mean Tig mix up like? Out of all people,
I was in the middle of fixing a banner. I just fucking lost my head there for a second.
No. I've only known you since we were 7 years of age.
Griff, I wouldn't take that. Griff, I wouldn't take that.
We'll start again. I'll make it bigger for it. That's Griff. That's Griff there, right?
Griff.
No, my sincerest apologies, Griff. I am joined by Griff and Socko this evening. Lovely evening. That's how we keep it.
Great. Not bother.
Yeah.
Okay,
pretty good. Staunch lads, yeah. Good to be back. LOI Fan TV.
That's it. What I was going to say was, because I was setting the like target there, that's actually what I was changing just beforehand. We didn't actually hit the 50 mark last week, so we need to kind of get back on track with the likes. So if we can, we're going to get reining a little bit and say 60 likes. If we can hit 60 likes on the stream tonight, it would be greatly appreciated, because we want to try and bring some exciting stuff to you with the stream over the next couple of weeks and stuff. Maybe start working with people and stuff. So we need to get to show them that people are liking the stuff and engaging with the content. So it is greatly appreciated if you can go ahead and drop a like on it. And we have something to give you guys as well. I'm not sure if you did see it on our Instagram last night, but we did launch a giveaway. So you can win a League of Ireland jersey of your choice over on our Instagram. All you have to do is go over there. There's a couple of simple steps to follow, and you win a League of Ireland jersey if you're a lucky fan. So why wouldn't you get involved? Speaking of jerseys, where is the Harps jersey, Socko? Any developments from last week?
Why is that coming from Bo's fan?
See the way he deflects it every time you say it to him. He deflects it.
He deflects it. Like, just answer the question directly. You're like a politician here. Like,
I think everyone in government's working is trying to put on a pair of socks here. Everyone, we're doing the best we can at the minute, and
best we can.
We got the rebrand.
Best we can. Like,
we got the rebrand sorted. Competition going well, and yeah, we're all in good form. Just glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You still didn't answer the question, but
we'll
let it slide for now. Like,
Ush is after chipping in. How are things? Ush, good evening to you. The Harps home jerseys are sold out, in fairness, but it is the third
kit,
yeah, which is actually it's a great cause as well. So Socko should definitely get involved in that.
No, it's the home jersey I was looking at. Like, so there's nothing I can do.
Such a little shit, such a little worm. No idea. Ush had to sort them out there big time. Look at him. Murder. Wait, I'm just flinging around the camera here for a bit. I'm just trying to get used to it. But I don't know what Mark's huge ass is on about. But listen, great show in store this evening, I reckon. And if you did, you can read it on the bottom of the screen there, but we do have a giveaway over on our Instagram of a League of Ireland jersey, so do get involved in that. I'll say it once or twice later on the stream as well. But while you're there as well, if you haven't already, I'm sure everyone watching has subscribed, but if you haven't, it is greatly appreciated if you can do so. We are on the road to 3K, so it is the support is all appreciated, guys. It means the world. Callum Robinson's on fire. We'll get on to that in a little bit. But yeah, he's at the scoring there, and finally scored against a team that's not Chelsea as well.
Yeah, only took him 40 games, like.
Yeah. Soccer would be glad to see that. First time we can celebrate a Callum Robinson goal. But yeah, I think we'll just jump straight into the LOI chat, lads. I was looking forward to the show tonight because it was an entertaining weekend of football. Obviously, we had the live stream watch along, and me and Soccer went up to the Dundalk game as well. We'll get on to that in a minute, but we'll start off at Richmond Park. St. Pat's, that was the first game of the weekend, I believe. They beat Derry 2-0. St. Pat's now have 10 points from 4 games. I only dropped points in that game against Shamrock Rovers, which is a good point as well. Derry, after 3 games, they're the only side yet to pick up a point this season. Really concerning times up there. Danny Lopano was sent off in the first half. It was 0-0 at half time and sent off in the first half, which kind of messed them up a bit. And then Robbie Benson and Dara Burns both scored in the second half to seal the victory. What were your thoughts on that result, lads?
Yeah, I was watching the game. I thought it was good, real good result for Pats. I thought they were very poor though. They're very, very poor. I think they were unlucky with the red card in some respects. It was 2 yellow cards. The second yellow card was like pull the shirt where a Pats player was going through, but it was still a bit like I've seen it, like you can get away with that, you know. So I think after that it was going to always be hard for them to come back into it. But yeah, Pats were good, but again, I think was a lot of it down where Derry just have not been that good so far this season, unfortunately. Which is weird because obviously I predicted them to come fourth, so I mean that's not looking great right now. I thought they did a good season in the transfer window. They had a good market, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's clicking so far. Like they have to get their act together soon. But I reckon, to be fair, if the red card didn't happen, it could have been a different game, but. I don't know. Yeah. Pats were the better team on the day by far, anyway. So, yeah, interesting one.
Flacco.
Yeah, obviously we were driving up. I think while the game was on, so we were just kind of following the updates on live score. But Pat's top of the league now, 100% record, like savage start for them. Robbie Benson with the first goal as well. He's been playing out of his skin so far for Stephen O'Donnell and Alan Matthews. From Derry's point of view, like another loss, rock bottom of the league. Have they picked up a point yet?
No, the only team in the league not to pick up a point.
No points. Yeah, you mentioned that. Like as Griff said, they want to get their act together really soon.
Yeah.
If things don't improve the next 2 or 3 weeks, the gap's just going to get bigger and bigger. Like I know it is a long season, but like them few early games are really important to get some points on the board. So pretty concerned from their point of view. They have a lot of new players still need time to gel, it looks like. I'm like personally a bit disappointed for them, like because Declan Devine was like so nice to us and he was so positive and looked forward to the season ahead, and I think we'll do really well, like European spot, and now you're like, oh shit.
It's not like it isn't out of the question, obviously, that there's only 4 games and a couple of good results and it all changed. And you have to feel bad, like their marquee signing was probably Joe Hodge and he's been injured for the whole season so far, so that's disappointing as well. But yeah, you'd expect a little bit better. Especially the results like the one against Longford and stuff. That's been more concerned by. I mean, Pats are a very, very good side by all accounts. So maybe it isn't
facing Rovers on Tuesday, so it's not going to get any easier.
Exactly, tomorrow evening. Yeah. So if they end up with 0 points from 4 games, it is very concerning. But yeah, as Dan says here, long season ahead. I'd say Dan, like not a nickname. Long season ahead, plenty of time to turn it around for Derry. Anyway. Absolutely. And it's the same with a lot of teams like Dundalk and stuff as well. Obviously we'll get on to them, but only 1 point from 4. Hi lads, love the show. Any good prospects in the League of Ireland for Kenny to call upon for future squads? We might chat on that later on, actually, because we're going to be talking about maybe just the summer camp, potentially touching on that. So we might bring that into it. It's a good question. So we might get onto that, but we'll stick with League of Ireland. Moving on to the game in Ballybuffet, Finn Harps continuing their winning streak, lads. 2-1 win over Waterford. They'll be absolutely delighted with themselves. Socko and Griff, I think you both tipped them for a bottom 2 finish. Just have to get that in there. Waterford actually took the lead in this one. John Martin put the visitors ahead, but who else but Adam Foley got the equaliser? Unbelievable form he's in. I'm not sure exactly how many goals he has, but I know it seems like 4 or 5, maybe, is it? Maybe 4 from his opening couple of games. Been really, really good so far. And a dramatic late winner from David Webster secured all 3 points. So Harps, matching St. Pat's, have 10 points from their opening 4 games, and Waterford, on the other hand, with 3 points from their 4 games. I think Griff might be frozen there, Socko. Do you want to...
Yeah, same for me. Savage. I only saw the highlights myself, like Griff back there.
Yeah.
I only saw the highlights myself, but the winner in like the 92nd minute was like savage, and I really like there's like a hill where like a load of young fellas, there's been like 50 young fellas were just standing like peeking over the gate, and when he hit the winner in, like they went berserk. That was like really cool to see. It just makes you miss the fans there even more. But
yeah,
like if you put money on Harps being in this at the start of the season, you would have made some money. Like no one could have predicted it. That like Dundalk would be 9th and Finn Harps be joint top of the league. Like Ollie Horgan's obviously doing something right up there.
Yeah.
They seem to be really good, like team morale. They're really, really together, and Ollie Horgan has them ticking. So yeah, just hopefully they can kind of keep going.
Socko, just before you finish, would you like to remind us where you predicted Finn Harps to finish this season?
Oh, it's probably lower, down the lower end of the table, is it?
The lowest end of the table, like.
Yeah, Griff, thoughts on Finn Harps?
Yeah, love to see it, to be honest. I think they just keep on picking up like points from everywhere. Like he's seeing like complete smash and grab, really, like 92nd, 93rd minute winner. Adam Foley just been absolutely balling. Like you're seeing it again, the other week when they beat Dundalk as well, just like after being under the cosh for so long and just going another one like on the counter attack. Like I think the way that Ollie Horgan set them up, like obviously we know he's a top manager, like and it's just working. Like he's just getting points. Like, and listen, I don't want to like dampen things. Like, but realistically, I do think it is gonna like the form is gonna dry up eventually. But like at the start of the season, like towards the tail end, this could be big points for Finn Harps. Like when it comes to making a difference between being in the bottom few places in the table. So yeah, it's huge for them. I'm happy to see it as well. I like Finn Harps. So.
Yeah, I don't like realistically. I think that they won't be challenging for like a top 4 finish come the end of the season, but I do think they'll be comfortable. I do think they'll be like a 6th or a 7th. I think they'll be like they won't be. I don't think they'll be threatened this season. I think there is definitely maybe 3 or 4 worse teams than them. Definitely like worrying times for Harps. Sweating on Adam Foley's fitness after he tweaks his hamstring will be a huge blow if that is the case and if he misses any games. I didn't actually hear about that myself now, but that would obviously be a massive blow. Just a couple of people talking about the Derry game as well. Derry were in the game before Lopano got sent off, to be fair, which is obviously changed. It's a game changer, really. Don't think the 5 at the back suits them, which is interesting. A lot of teams are doing that as well. I remember Bows set up in a 5 at the back when they started the season off. A lot of teams seem to be doing that now. Rovers as well love it as well. So it's becoming very common, which is strange.
Yeah, playing a bit more conservatively. I don't know. I would agree. I do think Pats are probably still the better team when there was 10 men or 11 men on the pitch. But yeah, I think the send off definitely like changed the whole game. Really, like it's always going to. So I think they're in a sense have been unlucky so far this season. Like,
yeah, for sure. Last one on Derry. Would they consider sacking Devine if they lose their next 2 games? What do you think, lads? I think. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's too early. It's too early in the season. Definitely. I think you'd be looking more towards the tail end of the season before making a decision like that, unless it's like completely untenable and they are like rooted to the bottom of the table after 10, 15 games. But I think you'll eventually get them, start moving up the table, and when you get the likes of Joe Hodge back in the side and stuff, I think they will be fine. Next game was wow, I wasn't expecting this one, to be honest. The result, I wouldn't expect, like the away win wasn't too much of a surprise, but the result was bit of a shocker. Longford 0, Drogheda 4. And Tyg mentioned last week that it's going to be interesting to see how Longford would react from their first defeat. Obviously, they lost to Sligo 1-0 the week before. You kind of raised some concerns on sometimes like the newly promoted team has the first few games that bounce, but then once they lose once, you can see the energy and the kind of confidence sap from them a little bit. And it turns out he's probably right on that to raise that point. And yeah, it was just a demolition job by Drogheda against their fellow promoted side. Mark Doyle got a brace, Chris Lyons scored, and Hugh Douglas as well completed the route. So yeah, Drogheda with 7 points from 4, they'll be delighted with their start to the season. Longford with 4 points in 4 games isn't catastrophic, but that's a tough result to take, and they look to bounce back.
Yeah, I suppose they're in the game until just after half time, and then 2 goals in 5 minutes. Like Mark Doyle, Chris Lyons kind of killed them, to be honest. I only saw the highlights myself, but Drogheda looked really impressive, up to 4th in the table now. Kind of like Finn Harps, like no one would have really expected them to be so far up the table. So they definitely seem to be doing right. On the other hand, for Longford, like just put it down to a bad day at the office, I suppose. Nothing to get too worried about.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this was one of the only ones that I got last week that I actually got correct, and a few of the lads got wrong. I said Drogheda would win, so I'm kind of crawling myself back into this. But I do think, like, based on the fact like Drogheda obviously won first division last year, and Longford, coming in that fourth playoff space, and then coming up. Like, I did think that Drogheda would win. I didn't think it would be 4-0. I think it's a bit of reality check for Longford. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a reality check. Seeing they've had they've had a good start. This guy, man. But I think that would definitely you snap them back to reality. But I think Drogheda have a decent squad. Mark Doe is a very good player. Like a few other players, experienced heads on that team. So I think Drogheda will do well this season. I don't think they should have any problem going down, in my opinion. Like.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we spoke to the Longford fan, Kieran Burke from Between the Stripes, actually at the start of the season, and they're kind of under no illusions that it is going to be a relegation battle for them this season. And as you say, it's a reality check, and their next game is against Shamrock Rovers as well. So when you start as 3 losses in a row, if they lose that one, like it's tough it is a tough division. It's an unforgiving league. So it's going to be a tough slog for Longford this season, you feel. But I don't think anyone at the club is under any illusions about how difficult the season it's going to be for them, to be honest. But a great win for Drogheda, as you say, and I think they'll be absolutely fine this year as well. And Griff, I can't remember actually, because I think I deleted who predicted for which game. I just have the tallies from the games, but I didn't actually keep a hold of who predicted what for each game, which is annoying. But I presume you did get that right, I think.
Oh, I think to be fair, I think I only got like 2 right again. Like, so
it's 2, 2 down here. Same as myself, 2. I got 2 as well. But we'll get on to that. We'll get on to our predictions after we wrap it up. But next game was Sligo Rovers, who drew 1-1 with Shamrock Rovers. There's never going to be too much in this one, to be honest. Both sides will probably be in the top 4. I'd probably say both sides will be in the top 4 at the end of the season. Walter Figueira scored in the 82nd minute after a huge Alan Manis mistake. Really poor goalkeeping for that. And then Rory Gaffney equalised in the 88th minute. So that's 8 points from 4 games for Sligo. Really solid start. Rovers have 5 from 3, and their game in hand is tomorrow evening against Derry. So if they win that, they'll go level on points with Sligo. But the Alan Mannon's mistake was one that was kind of funny, because we were saying we want to make a meme out of it with Stephen Badley coming out earlier in the week saying that he's the best goalkeeper in the country, which he's still a class keeper. Like, goalkeepers make mistakes, but it's just funny timing, I suppose.
Yeah, Bradley said he can count on one hand like the amount of mistakes Manus has made, and like every keeper is going to make mistakes, no doubt. Like, but you kind of wouldn't expect it from a guy from like Manus, especially so early in the season. We've seen BB's mistakes for Dundalk the last few weeks, but that put them on the back foot, definitely. But I suppose they did really well in coming back and getting that equaliser in the 88th minute, just like they did against Pats. So they obviously have. We all know how much quality they have on the side and how much how strong they are, and like they kind of give up. They'll always be fighting. Like two 90-minute goals this season so far. So I say both sides probably be happy with the point. I think I predicted a draw as well, so happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I do think it was a pretty tight game. Obviously the Manus mistake is just funny, like, because obviously, like, last week I remember we were just going on about like a BB and saying, you need a solid goalkeeper. That was the difference of like 10, 15 points, whatever, and then that happens. Like, but obviously it does happen. Like, you can't really blame him as such. Like, every keeper is going to make a mistake, like, at some stage. It's just a shame that it happened and cost 2 points, really. Like, but I don't think. I think I agree with what you said, Ross. Like, Sligo look very good so far this season. I think they'll be up definitely in the top half finish anyway. So I think they'll be up and around there. Like, Rovers, I said as well last week. I said that they'd be like the best team in the league. I think they still will win the league. So I think it was, if it wasn't for that Manus mistake, they would have won. So like, you can't really knock them for it, really.
Yeah. Someone saying here, I think it's a Sligo fan saying, Stephen Badley coming out saying Shams had enough chances to win 2 games is an absolute joke. They had 2 clear-cut chances. Because I did see they did create a couple of chances, but that's definitely an exaggeration. Stephen Badley needs to maybe stop making all these mad claims. But the final game in the Premier Division was, of course, Dundalk, who continued their dismal start to the campaign, losing 1-0 at home to a poor Bohemian Star. The Bohemians.
Bit of wrestling.
Obviously, Socko, me and you were at this one. Obviously, it wasn't your first game back. It was my first game back for nearly, I think it's over a year now. So yeah, obviously savage to be back at a live game. Georgie Griff, of course, you did a live stream watch along with Liam as well. But Georgie Kelly's penalty was a difference in that one. We'll start with Bowes, the away side. Griff, delighted to get off the mark with the first win of the season. And does that give a lot of confidence going into the Watford game next up, maybe to get the season off to a good start?
Hugely, yeah. I think to be fair, it was we were lucky, to be fair, in a lot of senses. Like, I think that the first half, Dundalk were the better team. Like, I thought the South Korean fella, Ji Wong Woo, was like, he was very sharp, very quick. I thought he was causing us a lot of problems. And I do think that we were lucky because we were sitting back and they had most of the ball, and then suddenly you go up the other end, there's a collision and there's a penalty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There wasn't many chances in the game, really. And then that said, even though I don't think Bowes created a lot of chances, neither did Dundalk. Dundalk didn't look great either. Like, that's the worrying thing on their behalf. Like, I didn't think they looked particularly special, really. Like, I think Bowes completely got away with one at the end when it was a clear handball. Like, it was a complete handball, and we could see it on the TV. We could see it on Watch LOI cameras, which are like, they're not HD 4K, like, and we could see them, and the ref couldn't see them standing 10 yards away. Like, so I think Bowes got a poor decision. Yeah, it was definitely a poor decision. So we got away with one there, but absolutely delighted, really. Like, I think especially after the shaky start, like losing the Harps and stuff, like to win against like a team like Dundalk away from home, like it's just massive real boost of confidence to the lads, I'd say. Definitely.
Yeah, you kind of touched on, before I come to you, Socko, you kind of touched on Dundalk being a little bit unlucky maybe, and obviously they had the header hitting the bar early on. Sam Stanton had a great chance with a header from only a couple of yards out. I think Talbot made a good save there. So they had a couple of good chances, but for me, I think Dundalk are just a complete mess at the moment, on and off the pitch. The Keegan Giovignoli situations is an absolute mess. The tactics, I came out after the game, and this is my post-match reaction, everyone, and I said that it doesn't seem like there's that many tactics really going on. Like, I think he's just throwing on. I think they had Michael Duffy, Ryan O'Kane, David McMillan, Pat Hoban, McElhenney. They all just throw them on, and then they're just kind of lobbing balls into their box when they're like players that you get on the ball and play like nice football with, and there just doesn't seem, the whole thing's just so unclear with the situation, the managerial situation, and we'll touch on as well. The Dan McDonnell was kind of going back and forth with John Gill as well, but we'll get on to that in a minute. But Socko, what did you think of the game?
Yeah, just briefly about the substitutions and the kind of lack of tactical instruction. They brought on, was 2 or 3 forwards in the 64th. They made a triple change in the 64th minute, and then just threw Ryan O'Kane on for the last 10 minutes. They definitely had chances to at least get a point or win the game. I don't know how Stanton missed that header. Like, it was a super save, but it was like 4 or 5 yards out in front of goal. At least like put it in the corner or get a good touch in it. Their best chance of the game probably was that, or hitting the crossbar. I think 10 minutes in. I can't remember. Super ball in from who put the ball in?
Duffy.
Duffy put the ball in. But
I thought you wrote a match report on this.
It was like looking at 2 totally different sides. Bowes looked so much more coherent, like they had a plan, supporting each other off the ball. Did look dangerous in the counter-attack, but didn't got the counter-attacks, got up doing the other end of the pitch, but didn't have anything kind of in front of goal, like didn't capitalize on them as much as they should have. But Dundalk, on the other hand, they couldn't really string a few passes together, and when they did, they just had nothing in front of goal, really. It was like watching 2 totally different teams, to be honest. I think Bowes deserved a bit of luck at the end, getting away with the handball. Overall, could have been a point, but I think Bowes well deserved the win. I did think that just from sitting where we were, it kind of hit home to me how strange it was my biggest takeaway from the game how strange the Keegan Giovagnoli thing is. Like we were sitting up at the back of the stand, and the Dundalk substitutes Gartland as well were kind of just in front of us, and Giovagnoli sat within them about like 10 seats from the barrier, and then there's a big drop down to the bench. And at the first half he shouted and moaned and got up a few times, but he was fairly calm and just sat in a seat. I think he had a notepad and a laptop. And then during the second half, as the minutes went on, he just kept edging closer and closer to the gate. And by the end of the game, where Bowes kind of had to shut up shop, and rightly so, any ball Dundalk put in, they answered really confidently, cleared it. I think the lads at the back and Talbot had a superb game, but Andy Lyons in particular. But Giovagnoli was just shouting at his Italian assistant and shouting at Keegan for the whole game. Like I couldn't really hear exactly what it was, whether it's like press or put a player on or make a change. But it's just so strange, Ross. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it. Like totally kind of dysfunctional. I don't know why he's there, to be honest.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's quite a question here. I think you said it. You guys were at Oriel. Was Filippo and other staff shouting tackles? It was kind of hard to tell what was going on, but there was a lot of shouting going back and forth, wasn't it? Really, and in the first half, it was a lot of Giovagnoli just like kind of screaming press and screaming a lot of that stuff from the stands in the first half mainly. By the end of it, he was down to touch on himself. But in the first half, he was holding this like I don't know what it was, like a manual or something like that. Like it was like it looked like tactics or something, or I don't know what it was. It looked like a book or like a spreadsheet or something. And I was like trying to zoom in on my phone, just trying to see what it was. Like,
do you ever see those ones where it's like score? It's just like it's like the net and it's like score.
Yeah, I was gonna take a picture and then change like football for dummies or something.
Shocking.
The whole thing is so strange, isn't it? And I think Dan McDonald was sitting behind us and he put a picture on Twitter saying, like, kind of questioning the situation, because he's questioned it a few times this season now about how strange it is. And people are accusing him of having like an anti-Dundalk agenda, but I don't think it's anything to do with that. It's such a strange setup there. Really, really odd. And it was kind of, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention fully to it, because you're trying to focus on the game as well a little bit. Like, so it is difficult to try and just to focus, because there's so much going on as well, because you can see everyone, like there's no fans or no distractions, like you can see everything that's going on. Like you can see Brian Garrett and David McMillan shouting out instructions to the pitch and everything, just sitting.
We're to be careful what we say to each other.
Yeah.
Be like 2 seats in front of me.
It's like, let's see how baby dropped. And he's sitting there in two rows. Yeah. Dropped after a string of mistakes.
He's turned around and he's like, he looks at his phone and he's like,
that triple change and Ryan O'Kane going on for the last 10 minutes. I saw Giovagnoli turn to like Ryan O'Kane and who else came on? I have it here. McMillan came on, McElhenney, Darragh Leahy. Giovagnoli turned and tell them to like get changed, start warming up. But is that coming from him? Is that coming from Keegan? Is that coming from the assistant? It's like if Keegan's trying to focus on the game and try to work out how he's going to get an equaliser, like the last thing he needs is some like fella shouting at him from 20 yards away. And once the fans come back to the stadium, he's not gonna. What does he do then? Like fucking text him? Like, yeah, it's weird.
There's absolutely no way that Shane Keegan is the main man there.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
His resume is he got relegated with Wexford Youths and got relegated with Galway, and that's it. There's no way he's the main man there.
Chance.
It's a complete.
Well, that's it. Giovagnoli's resume is summer camps in New York. So I mean, like,
yeah, but he's in charge last season, so you can maybe add to that. He was
last season
group stage and won the FAI Cup as well, maybe because he was in charge last year.
Yeah,
so you can maybe and like Shane, like there's no way Shane.
There's not a chance. There's not a chance Shane Keegan's in charge. No, not a hope.
It's a complete cover up. Like, a couple of questions coming in from Shane Kerr. He's brother of Brian. His cousin's Juan in Spain. Shane Filippo was on the sideline versus Sligo, but can't be in the technical. He was at the end of the game. Wasn't he? Last like 20 or so, I think he was on the sideline, wasn't he? I think.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But definitely up to the 75th minute, he was hanging over the gate. Yeah. To be honest, like, my question is, why is he there? And my only answer is probably, Ross, where you said, like, there's no way Keegan's the number one. He has to be the number one. It just hit home to me how kind of dysfunctional it is at the moment. Then you look on the other hand with Alan Matthews and Stephen O'Donnell at Pats, like top of the league at the moment. They're both allowed on the same bench. I know, like, they both have their badges or whatever they need, but like, it shows it can work. But at the moment,
I think it's a lot more clear there, though, isn't it? It's a lot clearer. Like, it's more transparent. Like, and they're just kind of honest about it. They're not like, it doesn't feel like a cover up or anything. Like, it's like O'Donnell is the first team coach. Like, and I don't know. Yeah,
100%. But like, I think I read there Dundalk's worst ever start to a league campaign. They looked a shadow of a team on Friday night. Ross put it best. They looked like a load of individuals thrown together. Bowes looked like a coherent team. And the relief for Keith Long at full time, I was kind of watching him, and then when the ref blew the whistle, he kind of did that. I was like, oh, thank God for that. Bowes players with buzz and coming in off the pitch, and then I was trying to finish my report, and then on the stands, like, above the dressing rooms, you could hear like techno music blasting.
It's so funny. So funny. So you can hear them coming out of the dressing rooms when I'm interviewing Keith Long, and they're like banging the sides of the tunnel and everything. Like,
you had a nice shot, Keith Long. You kind of you survived a little scary moment for him.
Oh, stop! Yeah, it was like
funny.
I was like, because I kind of asked him. Obviously on the front three, like, because I was losing Danny Grant, losing Chris Twardick, losing Andrew Wright, of course it's going to be difficult to replace that, and it's like kind of one of those things that I've been, because it's something we would have asked him if we were able to interview him before the season started. So I kind of wanted to just get the question in, just wanted to hear his thoughts, and he probably has answered it a couple of times beforehand. But I asked him that, and he said, Who's saying that's a challenger? Like, are you saying that's a challenge and everything? And I was like, oh, Jesus, I think it's just a general consensus. Like, and he started laughing. I was like, oh, like, handy, like, nice one. But it's a bit of
relief when he started laughing.
Hard stuff for a sec. And then he went into how, like, Grant earned his move over to England, and Twardick went to the Polish Premier League, and Andrew Wright lives in the UK. His family's from the UK and stuff, so it was just a natural option for him. He had an option to stay there. Back to Dundalk just quickly, though. Just lastly on this, the subs were a desperate attempt at throwing on every attacking option. No one was told where to play. That's absolutely spot on. That's just exactly what I think. Junior was in the right, and I felt bad for Junior because he is a good player, and he's been the top goal scorer in the league once or twice, I think. And he was awful when he came on. He just didn't get a sniff, and he was terrible. Like,
oh man,
I'll say this as well, just real quick. Like, you're bringing on Ryan O'Kane as well, who's like a 17-year-old kid. He's like he's still a kid. Like, the way his frame is and stuff. Like, he's very, very technically, he looks very good. But you're bringing him on for the last 10 minutes, and you're lumping up all. What do you expect him to do? Like, what do you expect him to do?
Like,
do you know what I mean? Like, if you want, like, bring on, you'd be better off bringing up like a centre half or something, and lob them up in there into the box. Like, I don't really understand. It didn't seem like there was any tactics behind the subs. It was just kind of lob them on, then a few balls into the box and hope for the best. Really, like,
Dundalk tweeted, I think it was with half an hour left after they kind of made their substitutions. They said Dundalk are playing with a front four now, and I was like, front four? I was like, who the fuck's the back, or who's the midfield? Front four, strange, like.
It's like a midfield two of Shields and McElhenney. McElhenney's like a number 10. Like, it was like basically he's part of that. Like, it's like basically from 5. Then, like, mental.
I thought it just Dundalk briefly. My last word. I think Han was pretty good until he came off. I think came off half time. Sam Stanton had a huge chance there with the header. Really should have scored. Thought Chris Shields was probably Dundalk's best player as ever. Captain. I thought he was really, like, assured on the ball, did his best, but kind of struggled to create many opportunities. And Peter Cherry, his first game for Dundalk, I think after 5 or 6 years, coming in after BB got dropped, had one really scary moment. I think it was.
I was about to say that. Jesus Christ! Yeah, where best a Bibby impression, like.
Got away with one.
really simple back pass to him, and he just totally fluffed it. I can't remember who nicked it off him.
Yeah, Georgie Kelly.
Georgie Kelly, but really got away really lucky with that. Like if he'd have conceded that, Keegan would have been going, "What's the crack with my goalkeeper?" Is this?
Yeah, genuinely.
But yeah, I think overall well deserved for Bows. Rode their luck once or twice. Keith Long said that, but savage win for Bows. But Jesus, where do Dundalk go now?
That's the question. That's the question in everyone's mind, I think. And the next game is against St. Pat, so it doesn't get any easier for him. Junior's overrated, did nothing with us last season. I think that's a Sligo fan. So yeah, he wasn't great last season, I don't think, but he's still a good. I think he's a good player. He's
still a good player.
Probably a bad move, like because he operates on the left ideally, and that's where Michael Duffy plays. So, Dundalk players and management had a meeting yesterday to address. I heard that as well. Just a poor start to the season. But like, I suppose, like what can they say? Like, not good enough. For Liam, who couldn't join us tonight, unfortunately, but he says he's very impressed with Sligo and Pat so far. Might be better than expected. Plenty more games to play. On the other hand, doing a great job, lads. Nice one, Liam. Appreciate you tuning in, man. In work, I believe. Getting a good few questions in here. Being interesting, being Pat's fan, how they stand after the next couple of weeks when the squad depth is tested with the midweek games. Yeah. It's a good point because Pat's a very good starting 11, you feel, but when maybe a couple of injuries, and it'd be interesting to see how they are after that. But for Pats, they look like potential title contenders. And that's very early to say that, but the way they're playing,
I think the one thing that will separate Shamrock Rovers from everyone else is just like they've got so many options even on the bench. Like they've got a really, really good squad depth, and that's what happens. Like it's a 36 game season, not including the cup, and if you get into Europe and stuff, it's a long old season. Like if you get one or two injuries, like especially in that Pats, like that Pats team, like Robbie Benson, if he gets injured, who's going to replace him? Maddie Smith, like even Ronan Coughlin. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. So we'll see how they hold up.
Definitely. Last thing on the weekend was interesting to see because John Gill kind of screenshotted a Dan McDonald. I'm not sure if you saw this. I'll read it out, but Dan McDonald had tweeted out that Dundalk had lost their way under previous management. It's a bit of a dig, like, because he says that's because when the chairman was given influence, there was no coming back under Vinnie Pert, and a strong manager is needed now to put outside influences back in the box. And John Gill, who was the first team coach when Vinnie Pert was in charge, even replied to that saying, "Poor tweet. Was it broken after the defeat in Sligo, 13 points behind the leaders, or was it broken in 2017, I think, under Kenny, when they're at the club of 17 points behind Cork? Every team and group has ups and downs," which is an interesting point. Dan McDonald replied saying, "You can tag me, John, if you want to reply. I stand over what I said there. Sure, Vinnie Pert was previously said he was ready to quit over everything that was going on around the Champions League game that they had. So it wasn't like a normal down." John replied, "Daniel, you wrote an article just after the previous manager left, which in my view was in poor taste. You checked facts with a couple of disgruntled individuals without giving anyone a right of reply before you published." Dan replied, "John, it's clear from your messages that you've been given a certain version of the truth about who I spoke to for that piece. I know where that theory comes from, and I won't be able to say who I spoke to, but it's not the version you have been spun. I can 100% assure you that. Everyone," and he continues on with a different tweet, "everyone tries to present themselves in the best possible light. But as I say, I stand over the tweet and what was written before, but do not want to get into a slanging match because I know you do have a genuine feel for the club. And there's a lot of upset over what's happened." And then John Gill replied, "I'm upset over your assertion that the previous management group was weak. I was part of that group. If people were weak, some of us would be still there now. And that is a fact." That's an interesting one. Like, some of us would be there now if we were weak. I found it was interesting. Dan McDonald replied, the last thing on it, "There are layers to that point. Your initial tweet referenced a previous manager who would never have accepted any interference. Yes, he never had to deal with it either, but that is the point I was making. Boundaries were naively crossed, as you well know." So yeah, it's the whole club is like in turmoil. Obviously, John Gill and Vinnie Pert let go last season, and I think Dundalk fans would have given them more time. They had only just won the league. Obviously, were on a bit of a downward spiral at the time, but I think, as he says, every group does have its ups and downs. But I think, Dundalk just seems like a complete mess, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was funny. I was chatting at half time to I think it was one of their media guys, in the stand, and I was kind of saying, "Geez, you don't look like apart from hitting the crossbar 3 minutes in, it kind of went like they threw the kitchen sink at the last 10 minutes, but after the crossbar chance 5-10 minutes in, it really went downhill from there." And I said to him at halftime, "Geez, you aren't playing too well. Like it's like what's the crack with us this season?" And he said to me like we're shocking, like no class all over the pitch, just nothing's clicking for us, nothing's going our way, and I'm not sure why. And I said, "Oh, it must be pretty kind of funny watching that with like Giovagnoli sitting right there and all the subs sitting right there, and you have to be careful what you say." And he says, no, I've said it to them.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, fair play," because a lot of fans watch their clubs with like rose tinted glasses and don't call out poor performances when they happen.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, a lot of fans do. So it was kind of cool to see him be really honest and say, "Yeah, we're really, really bad this season." Obviously, that comment there, then a meeting today to address the poor start, their worst ever start to a league season. Yeah, the big questions need to be answered in the next few weeks.
For sure. Griff, what do you think on that?
Just on the online spot, I think it's interesting because you just touched on Dan McDonnell obviously questioning a lot of what's going on behind the scenes at Dundalk, with Filippo and Shane Keegan and stuff, and then I mean getting into kind of a Twitter spat with the ex managers. Like you can kind of see why people would think that he has a bit of a Dundalk agenda against him. Like not saying that he does, by the way, but like that's just that's how people might perceive him.
He does
I think it's
interesting. Like nearly every week, he does. Like Dan McDonnell puts a picture up or says something about Dundalk nearly every week. Like
it's interesting. I do think that a very interesting comment saying we'd still be there if they weren't weak, as in people left based. I presume what he means by that is that people left after Vinnie Perth got sacked. That people left in tandem with him. Which would like imply they're strong-willed and not weak. So that's an interesting comment. I don't know. I like obviously going back to Vinnie Perth. I do think that the sacking at the time was a bit harsh. It didn't work out for them in the end. I mean, did very well in Europa League.
Short term, maybe. Yeah,
exactly. It was a short-term fix. Like I remember, like the appointment was big question when it happened. But as you said, I think Dundalk fans, there was definitely a bit of when it happened, there was definitely like big questions being asked, and Vinnie Perth did a lot for Dundalk, like, so I can see why John Gill would be pretty upset in the way that they were treated and forced out the door. So it's an interesting one, like.
Yeah, so now Vinnie Perth worked with Stephen Kenny at Dundalk, didn't he, as well? So they were there. They were real, like, kind of with the community, kind of like they've had that relationship with the fans and stuff as well. But Socko, I think I interrupted you there.
Sorry, Dan. Put up a good tweet during the match. Said, "I know some people are sick of us talking about the Dundalk management charade, but it's hard not to be drawn to the amount of energy they're expending with it all. Filippo is getting steadily closer to the sideline ahead of the latest treble substitution. Messages going back and forth. I'm not sure if you can just see this, but like Filippo's in the bottom right, crouched down.
Yeah.
Look
hanging over the barrier, like that's mental, isn't it? Like?
Crazy. And then the next tweet up was full time. Dundalk's on the field operation now looking as coherent as off the field. That catches up to you eventually. So
interesting.
Dan's not impressed.
Yeah. Des Gallagher says. Yeah. Vinny said on off the ball last year that he respects Dan McDonnell, but his reports on Dundalk under Vinny / John Gilbert are inaccurate and not true, which is very interesting. And as I say, I've only have limited interactions with Vinny Perth, but like they've all been very, very positive, and I don't think he'd lie about anything like that and come out after the fact and say that as well on off the ball. So I think we've kind of touched on that there, and I think we'll move on from it. But it is very interesting to look back at that and see, because I think Dan McDonnell might have got kind of both sides of the story potentially for what he was publishing. But to touch on the prediction table, lads, quickly, I got 2 results right this week. Liam got 1 result right this week. Socko got 3 results right. Ty got 4 results right. Very good, 4 from 5. And
Jesus.
Griff got 2 from 5. So the prediction table as it stands, Ty's in first with 10 points. Ross is in second with 9 points. Socko's in third with 9 points as well, actually level with me. Liam in fourth with 7. And Griff smells so bad down there with 5 points, making up the bottom of the table.
How can Liam get 1 and Liam gets 1 and I'm still root to the bottom? Like, Jesus Christ.
James Filippo Griffin, like.
The one as well, the one that Ty got wrong as well. Like he said that Longford would draw against Drogheda, and I got that right. Like so, actually, I don't know why I'm saying that. I mean, it doesn't make a difference, does it? Like it doesn't make a difference. It stinks down the bottom. I'll tell you that one. Absolutely stinks. Like
oh, 500 quid on the line. Well, but there's plenty of time to go. 24 games in, so plenty of time to go. Rick. Make up some ground. But we'll do. He's all right for time because we're went over a bit there, but he's about all right for time now. We'll do our predictions for. We'll start off with tomorrow's game, the midweek fixture between Derry and Shamrock Rovers, and we'll do the prediction for that. So, it's gonna contribute towards the table as well. But I think for this one, I'm going to go with an away win, and if Derry lose it, I was kind of tempted to go with a draw just to kind of do Declan Devine a favour, maybe give his players a boost if they're tuning in tonight. But I think
I'm sure they are.
It's a foregone conclusion for me now. I think Shamrock Rovers gets 3 points here.
Yeah, same here. Just based on form only. Away win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same as well. I'm pretty sure like all 5 of us across the board went for that. We're gonna go for that as well, isn't it? Like,
yes, all going for an away win. Next game up is Waterford against Bohemians, which is an interesting game. Bo's obviously on the back of the best result of the season, their first win of the season, so they're coming into this confident after the Dundalk game. But Waterford have been a little bit unlucky, like they lost in the last second to Finn Harps, and a couple of results have gone against them, but they haven't been overly great this season. I'll probably lean towards an away win here myself again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a away win as well. Like, I mean, last week I didn't go for an away win because I didn't want to come across as biased. Like, and then Bows won, so I beat Dundalk. Like, but now, like, that means now that I'm going for an away win, like, I just know for a fact, like, you know, we're gonna draw. So, I mean, might as well put the house and kids on it. Like, so I'll go for an away win. Yeah, I'll say Bows to win.
Yeah, away win. Away win. Bows really impressed me on Friday night. Especially in the final third and just the counter-attack and just they just look like a team. I know they had a tough start to the season, but Keith Long there seems to be really good camaraderie and there's a solid plan there and they all know what they're doing. They all have their roles. Really good defending set pieces as well. I know he didn't want a thesis on it, but away win.
Yeah. Yes, that's everyone going for an away win there as well. The next game, this could be an absolutely massive game for Derry because obviously we're kind of writing them off in the Rovers game tomorrow. But this one could be huge for them. They're playing host to Drogheda at the weekend, and they really need to get some points on the board in that one. But a Drogheda side who are in great form themselves and will fancy themselves to come away with at least a point, if not 3. What do you think of that one?
Right, I'm gonna go for an away win again. I think I don't know.
Three away in a row.
But thinking about this, I just think that Derry, after playing them on Tuesday night as well, you'll have Drogheda be fully fit, fully rested. Like I think that could be a difference. Like, yeah, do you know what I mean? So, that that makes sense. That's a good reason for going for. I think Drogheda as well. They looked real good against Longford even. Scoring 4, and Derry haven't been too good at the back this season. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the away win.
Socko?
Probably draw. I'm going to go for it just because I don't want to go for 3 away wins in a row. Like, it's definitely not going to happen. You could say, like, Derry are really due
a win or something, wouldn't you? Wouldn't like,
just a point at this stage. But Drogheda coming off the back of that, like, 4-0 win. I'm just going to go for a draw. Fuck it.
Yeah, so Socko, Liam, and myself went for the draw on this one, and Tig and Griff went for an away win in this one. So yeah, you'd go for the double chance on Drada if you're listening to us.
You're a betting man.
So watch Jerry. Go and win that one. Next up, another massive game. For Dundalk, obviously we spoke about them at length there and their problems. They play host to an informed St. Pat's side. This one's a tough one to predict because it's probably not as bad as we all think with Dundalk. Like, they did have chances to score against Bows. It's a really difficult one to know, isn't it? I think I just went for the draw, but I wasn't fully convinced. I could see it going any way, to be honest.
Yeah. Soccer, you go first.
Yeah, I'd probably go for draw. I haven't kind of torn Dundalk to shreds for the last while. Everything we've said, they did create 3 very good goal scoring opportunities. Hit the bar. Stanton had that chance, and I think it was who was? I think it was Cleary. Was it Cleary? Yeah, I think it was Cleary. Hit the ball just wide. When they were throwing the kitchen sink at it in the last few minutes. So they can create chances, but just to kind of in the middle of the park, and that composure in the final third, they're just lacking. As Ross said, it's probably not as bad as we all think. They can still create the chances. Two of Pat's wins have just been by 1 goal. But they beat Derry 2-0 last weekend. They were really impressive versus Rovers in the opening game of the season as well. But I'd be inclined to go for a draw for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I was going to go for a draw, but now you two are saying draw, so I'm not too sure. I don't know.
All 4 people have gone for a draw on this one.
Really?
Liam and Tiger went for a draw as well. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go for a home win. I'm going to go for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a home
Big
win.
check.
Yeah, I do think that even though Pats have had a good start to the season, I would go for a draw, but I feel like I need to make up some. I'm at the bottom of the leaderboard, so I need to make up some ground. Yeah. And I would be leaning. Yeah, if I was leaning towards anyone at Dundalk, just based on the fact that I do think eventually they're going to get their shit together, and I don't think they weren't great against Bows, but I just said, like, if that penalty goes, if they get called that penalty, do you know what I mean? It's 1-1. We have a different conversation, really, like,
yeah.
And I had a good few chances. You can talk about the save that Talbot made and stuff. So I don't know. That said, Pats do look good, but I'm not going for 4 away wins in a row. So I'm going to say Dundalk win.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, is good logic. It's logical. Logical. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Next up, we have Shamrock Rovers playing host to Longford Town. This is probably everyone's going to go for a home win here. Probably doesn't need too much to be said about it, but yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go for an away win.
Yeah.
No, I mean, realistically, you have to go for Rovers here, don't you? Like, I mean, yeah, what more could be said? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you might as well, like, genuinely, like, if I say it's going to happen, it's not like you can guarantee it won't happen. Like, I have a feeling though. I have a feeling my luck's going to turn. My luck's going to turn this week. I have a good feeling. My luck is to turn. Yeah, no, I have a good feeling this year.
Yeah, for me, home win. No bother.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest one to predict out of the lot, and then Longford will go there and win 2-1 now. Look, last game to predict: Sligo Rovers against Finn Harps. Another tough one.
Good game.
It's going to be a very good game. Yeah, I'll probably edge towards the home win, but I'm not convinced at all.
Draw. I'll probably go for. Sligo have been really impressive. I think 8 points so far this season. But Finn Harp's like absolutely flying, full of confidence. So, but that said, it could be 1-1. They could get a fucking 94th minute winner, knowing Finn Harps. But yeah, I'll probably go for a draw.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a Sligo Rovers win. At the end, it's going to be tight though. Like I don't think. I just think Finn Harp's like. The luck has to run out eventually, even though it's not blind luck. Like, they're playing good football, but you know, there's been a few moments where, like, you're thinking about, like, when they beat Dundalk and stuff, like when Dundalk were all over them and they went down like one chance. Like, I do think that eventually, Like they have to drop a few points. I think Rovers Sligo have surprised me this year with how well they've been playing. So especially at home as well. And I've gone for a few away wins. So I'm gonna go for Sligo win.
Yeah, that's everyone on Sligo bar Soccer, interestingly. So everyone backing Sligo to do business there. Let us know your predictions for the upcoming games down in the comments below, or the live chat, wherever it is. Before we're going to jump down into the first division. Before we do that, make sure to drop a like on the stream. We're going to try and hit 60 likes on this one because, as we were saying earlier on, we didn't hit 50. I think we only got like 49 last week. So we're trying to build it back up to where we want it to be. So if we can hit 60 likes, it'd be greatly appreciated because we want to get back to where we can show. We want to try and start working with people on the live on this show and make it as big as it possibly can be. So if we can show them that people are engaged with the content and loving it, it'd be great. It'd be great if you can just show the support and drop a like on it. So if we can hit 60 likes on the stream, it is greatly appreciated. And if you can subscribe, if you haven't already, it means the world to us. But last thing before we go on to the first division, we have got something for you guys, a massive giveaway over on our Instagram. Go over and check it out. I think the link is in the bio. So make sure to wait till the end of the stream and then go over and check it out. You can win a League of Ireland jersey of your choice. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? It's the free jersey. Like, doesn't get much better.
Do you know what jersey I really like? I love that Finn Harp's third jersey, the purple one. Really nice. Yeah. I think Socko, that would look great on you.
Socko, that would look great on you, Pat.
My favourite shirt this season has to be Bo's away kit.
If Socko buys the Bows away jersey before he buys the Finn Harp's third jersey, he'll never appear on LOI Fan TV ever again. Mark my words. That's a promise. Absolutely. That's a promise.
Oh.
I've had one or two.
Really not.
I've had a few. I've had a few.
It's looking like my Monday nights are going to be free from now on. So.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
If you buy the Bows away jersey before you buy, and you're a Shells fan as well, so for those I love, that's the man we want to get on the on a podcast or on the live show or something, isn't it? 100%. A fellow Shells fan. And Socko, it's converted Socko from Bows to Shells as well, which I love.
Socko said to me 2 weeks ago, "I'm going to support Bows." Like, what's your deal here?
He shells. This
guy hasn't a clue.
If it was to pick a team, it'd be the Sporting Fingal. No Bows, but I've got really into this artist like last month called For Those I Love, and he's a massive Shells fan, and I sent him to Ross, and Ross was like, "Oh no, you're supporting Shells." So man, I'm in the band.
He's torn between two lovers.
Free agent Socko.
Not for the first time.
But there is a giveaway over on our Instagram, so if you go over there, there's only a few simple steps to follow and you could be in with a chance of winning a League of Ireland jersey of your choice. And the competition, I think you can enter up until Saturday at midnight, I think it is, and the winner will be announced on the Sunday, and maybe on the Cautiously Optimistic. We'll wait and see, but probably about a week you have to enter that. And why wouldn't you? You can win a League of Ireland jersey for free, so why wouldn't you enter? Like,
no brainer.
No brainer, isn't it? No, absolutely. But we will jump into the first division, and then we'll have a chat as well after that about, I want to talk to you about there's a Richmond Park thing I want to talk about, and there's a few of the Ireland players we want to talk about as well. So plenty still to come in tonight's show, so don't go anywhere, and make sure to like and subscribe as well. And we'll jump in first of all at the Bowl. UCD 0, Bray Wanderers 0. Moving on.
Riveting game. Tell me more.
Both sides. I'd say both sides will probably be up there come the end of the season, and there really wasn't an awful lot to talk about in that one, to be honest. Being perfectly honest. Treaty Cove 1-1. Treaty Cove. Treaty. We just won not to win that one. That was definitely a game I thought Treaty could have won. And they went 1-up, I think, as well. So yeah, to miss out on the 3 points there, be disappointed for them.
I think they've had there was, because when me and Liam were doing a live stream, they had like one of the guys in the chat was saying that Treaty had more red cards and goals that season. Like, Yeah, and I think they had a man sent off against Cove as well. Like so, mental stuff. Yeah, you thought because Cove aren't great. Like Cove really aren't good. Like so, you thought they would get something out of that. Like
for sure. So, I'm not sure if that's Sam Green. I have a funny feeling it is, but he said hipster.
Definitely Warrior. Yeah, it is Warrior.
Yeah,
definitely
is. Like,
and
I don't know if he's definitely one used to. Definitely couldn't be me. I'll say it's Griff because Soccer's a Shells fan. So, Shells. Speaking of Shells, actually, they got their first win of the season, 1-0 against Wexford. Very, very unconvincing, but the 3 points is all that matters. A lot of Shells fans are pretty disappointed with the start of the season. Still unbeaten, but 2 draws and a win isn't ideal for the high expectations that you would have. A 1-0 win over Wexford doesn't exactly whet the appetite. It was an own goal as well. In terms of the amount of players that they brought in, Yo-Yo Maddie scored 16 and 18 last season. Michael O'Connor, who's a Premier Division striker, there's no doubt about that. Glenn McCauley as well. So the players that Shells have brought in, you'd expect them to win. But it is always difficult, I suppose, when a team comes and sits 10 men behind the ball. It is difficult to sometimes break that down, and to get the 3 points, it's all that really matters. So, I'll take the 3 points and move swiftly on to Cork at the weekend. Quick one here from Treaty, yet to finish a competitive game with 11 on the pitch. Take the league by storm. So yeah, it's that Treaty United fan legend. Get in, love that.
Yeah, mental stat. More men sent off than goals scored. Like they've scored 2 goals and had 3 men sent off. Like
it's so funny.
Mental like.
Speaking of Shells, obviously gone to Cork next. And Cork lost 1-0 at home to Athlone. No, this isn't Athlone. Actually, there's James doing a goal. Griff, we obviously know him well from the what was it, a 5-a-side in
Rings End, yeah.
Rings End, yeah. Actually, rang rings around us, yeah.
Oh my
God. Griff, were you in goal, Griff? I think, weren't you?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! And I remember we played we played like our local one. We won like the Fingal one or something. So then we went in.
Yeah. We thought we were like full of confidence.
We were like, oh, I was in goals as well. I was like, oh my God, like, I'd never played in goals in my life. Like
a young Donnarumma in that Fingal tournament. Like.
I played well in the Fingal one. I played pretty well, like, and then as soon as we got to Rings End, oh my God, I had a few howlers. Remember the ball was coming to me and I went to go kick it and completely miskicked it. Like,
the bag.
I cracked under the big lights, like.
The bag.
Yeah, but James Duna absolutely ran rings around us. It was like a Shamrock Rovers, like a U team we were playing against, basically, wasn't it? Like,
it's something ridiculous. They shouldn't have been there. Like.
They were ridiculous. They beat us like 4-5-0, didn't they? Like.
Something like that. We'll take that and move on. Like we'll take the positives we can find from it. And I think we hit the post or something. We'll take that and move on. Like
Stephen Kenny. But
yeah. But yeah, Athlone looking really good this season so far. They've brought in a lot of. They also invested quite a bit because they brought in a lot of good players. But for Cork, it seems like an absolutely terrible results. There's a Cork fan here saying it's a poor start to the season, and we got a message, an Instagram DM. Actually, we didn't reply to it now, mind you, but saying Colin Healy out or something, and I don't know. Like it's way too early in the season to be saying that now, but it does beg the question of whether there is what are they like. Is it imperative for Cork to go straight back up? I don't think they have the squad to do that personally. I think they're a little bit away from that, and I think they need to take this season to have a lot of young players there, get that bit of experience, maybe an extra year, and Healy out is too early. Get that extra year of experience, and there's so many young players in that squad. And a good young players, like, but yeah, to expect them to go up this season, I think is a little bit early. I know they have the likes of a Dylan McLeod, the couple of Gerard Morrissey who would expect to be top class players in the first division, but I think they're still a little bit behind. Maybe a Bray, a Shells, maybe even a Galway. I know Galway haven't been great, but maybe it's still a few steps behind that. So, Cork do belong in the Premier Division, though, don't they? They're like that. They're a big club, like huge club.
No, definitely. And going to Turner's Cross, obviously, really, really good away day, and you want to see them back. Like, I just think right now, this season, like, First Division is so stacked. I think they're going to have a hard time. They won't. I don't think they'll win the league anyway. Like, they might have a chance through the playoffs. Obviously, that's the thing. Like, Longford finished fourth last year and went up. So, like, everyone has a chance. Everyone's in with a shot. Like, it's I don't know. It's tough though. There's 5 or 6 teams like out of 10 in that league who you could potentially see going up. Do you know what I mean? So, it's a really, really it's a good division right now. So interesting, like.
Yeah, it's
fascinating. Sorry, I was just.
Sorry, it's gonna be interesting. Like the next few weeks and come towards the end of the season in the first division, because like two, if not three of the top three at the moment, I don't think many of us had in our kind of top two, top three predictions this year. Like Athlone first, Cabinteely second, UCD third. Obviously joined with Shelver and Treaty there as well. Like, it's gonna be fascinating. And then on the other hand, Galway, Cork 7th and 8th had really poor starts this season. I know it's only 3 games in, 2 for Galway, but like Cabinteely, Athlone, UCD could put pressure on the kind of bigger teams as you'd call them.
Yeah, for sure. The final game was actually postponed, Cabinteely against Galway, due to I think it was a COVID outbreak or something amongst the Cabinteely lot, and they couldn't field the team. So I'd imagine that means that their game against the UCD will be ruled out as well. You'd think, surely.
I think so. I don't know. Just this is a mad old topic, but you see, like in the Colombian First Division, they had a. This is mental. Though it was a team who had every single player apart from 7 players ruled out due to COVID. So they played a match with 7 players and they had 2 goalkeepers out. Like, so it was goalkeeper playing outfield. Like, and they held on until the 80th minute, and then one of their players got injured and had to come off. Like, so then they conceded like 3 within 10 minutes. They were playing 6 against 11. Like,
fucking hell.
Yeah, absolutely mental. Like, imagine that was in the League of Ireland. Like, you send out like UCD with like 6 men on the pitch. Imagine, like, it'd be so funny. Like
the Colombian fucking First Division.
It's like playing FIFA Street versus a full size squad. Like,
yeah, 22 players missing. Apparently, that's so funny. That is gas. But I'd imagine the Cabinteely game would be called off again. You'd think anyway, for safety. But yeah, you never know.
As of today,
it's on.
Cabinteely. As of today, it's on. Yeah, Cabinteely just tweeted, but yeah, it's a weird one.
Touch and go, isn't it? Yeah. Bray against Athlone will be an interesting game. Bray obviously coming in after draw, and Athlone coming in off a good win against Cork. It could go anyway. That one, really, you think?
Yeah, no, I think Athlone looked decent this season as well. Like, they've had a real good start, like 2 wins and a draw. Bray, like 3 draws, pretty mediocre, really. Like, you'd want them, or they'd want to be picking up a win fairly soon. Like, so it'll be interesting. Like, I think they both have like decent squads. Athlone surprised me as well, because Athlone usually, like, typically they're always in and around the bottom of the league. So I mean, for them to actually pick up some points is pretty interesting. So yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know a whole lot about either team. So do you know what I mean? Going off my head here, but like, you know.
Yeah. Perceptions. Probably go for a narrow Bray win, but it's tough to know. Get off the mark, maybe. An interesting one will be Cork against Shales, the 2 teams that were relegated. I think Shales. I'm hoping that Shales will win that one. I'd like to think they will. Obviously against an out of form Cork. Would you think Shales will win that one?
Yeah, I'd say so. Cork have been dismal this year so far. Shales having pretty positive, kind of scrape past Wexford, but like. They're creating the chances, no doubt. Ian Morris said, like, we can. What was his quote? We can go up a few gears. Like, we're still in first or second gear. He said, long trip down to Cork, but yeah, you'd fancy Shels come back with 3 points.
Yeah, for sure. Galway against Treaty. Galway obviously had the game postponed, and they're on the back of a 3-1 loss to. They lost the last game 3-1, and then Treaty obviously as well coming in off the 1-1 with Cove. So I'll probably fancy Galway to get back on track here against Treaty. But yeah, it's tough to know. But I think I'll go with Galway in that one.
Yeah, see if Treaty keep 10 or 11 men on the pitch. That'll be interesting.
That's what we'll keep an eye out for. And then Wexford against Cove, which will have the eyes of the country on it. Go for a draw on that.
No, definitely.
Nil all over it.
Generally.
Just got a comment here. I was going to reply to Ross. Did you just try to get any interviews with her? But this was Daniel Shields. He was actually outside Oriel as you can say, he was they were making noise in the second half. I could see his and could hear his making a bit of noise behind the fence at the back of the goal. And did he get any interviews with our players? We didn't. Dundalk, they were kind of discreet leaving, like they didn't really. It was kind of hard to grab them. We wanted to try get Georgie Kelly actually in an interview as well, but we were talking to Keith Long, and Georgie had left in the meantime, so that's a bit disappointing. But Dundalk, it'd be kind of difficult to grab them for a chat after that game, I think. I don't think many of them would be up for a chat after that. But we'll move on from the LOI onto we might do this every week, a little Irish players abroad, kind of a weekly segment. So like players in England and stuff as well. So the ones that stand out and have a good weekend. So the Derby Norwich game stood out. Festi Eboseli, Louis Watson, and Andrew Omobamidele all played in that one. Jason Light was interestingly on the bench actually, but is Festi Obaseli in particular. It was his debut for Derby, 18-year-old right back, potentially maybe could come in when Seamus Coleman and Doherty not getting any younger. Potentially there may be a replacement there. But yeah, it's good to see a good few Irish lads on the pitch in that one.
Yeah, I think everyone's been real impressed with Omobamidele as well. Like he's been really, really solid. Like obviously his first game for Norwich, got the man of the match. Then obviously playing that 7-0 win against Huddersfield. Like everyone, even like Norwich fans on Twitter have been really singing his praises, which is great. Like only 18, you're breaking into the first team squad in a team that are like, hammering teams in the league. Like they're really up there. They'll get promoted, surely, like you'd imagine. So if he's in the Premier League next season, that would be massive. Like, I mean, kind of a Darragh O'Shea situation, maybe like coming up with West Brom, getting a few games in the Premier League, which would be absolutely brilliant. Like maybe potentially break into the Ireland squad. So definitely keep it up.
Yeah, for sure. An LOI export. Aaron McEnough got his first Hearts goal. 25-year-old. Savage goal. He'll possibly be hoping to get into the what can I call it? The Irish like summer camp thing. When they're going to play, and is it Andorra and someone else, something like that. But he might be.
Woohoo!
Summer camps, they'll all have little like lunch bags, and they'll get like a football to bring home with them on the Friday.
It's basically just be a piss up, like. But he'll be hoping. He'll be hoping to get maybe not. The fact he's in the Scottish second tier. But I know it's Hearts are going straight back up, but maybe he. I don't know, like it depends how many they're bringing. If they're bringing like 40 players, he might have a chance, but it just depends really.
To be honest, like you'll have to see where injuries are at the time. Like Connolly's been so unlucky with injuries. Ida missed the whole last window as well. But like I think Troy Parrott's got one senior goal so far. If he doesn't kick on the next 2 or 3 months, and other players in there like Collins and Long, I think there's a space for McEnough if other players aren't producing. Like if McEnough is doing really well, like scoring, let's say like 10 goals before June, whereas the likes of Parrott, maybe Long, just get like 1 or 2. I know there's different age gaps, but like I think McEnough should be given a chance.
Yeah. They're more competing.
I think it's just the level. It's just the level as much as anything. They'll probably wait. I mean, maybe wait until next season, see what he does in the Premiership, and then decide. Like,
Yeah, it's a good show. It was like someone said Jamie McGrath was probably maybe ahead of him in the pecking order now because he's doing it in the Premiership. Next one is, let me see, Josh Cullen was an interesting one actually. He came off the bench with 20 minutes to go when Anderlecht were 1-0 down, and they ended up winning again 2-1, and he got an assist as well, so it was good to see that from him. It's nice to be able to kind of point that out because not many people will be paying too much attention to the Belgian league, but he came on and had the stormer for Anderlecht, and he was one that probably impressed in that last international period.
Yeah, I was going to say, in that double six role alongside, he was alongside Malumbi for one game, and then Knight for one game. Really calm on the ball, really keen eye for a pass, and a bit of hardness about him. Like, doesn't get pushed off the ball easily. Like, he's well able to take a hit, which I think is needed beside the likes of Knight and Malumbi, who are just a tad bit younger than him and a tad bit like less bulkier, as if I can say that. So yeah, really impressed me the last window.
For sure. What do you think of him?
I thought when he came into the Irish squad, he was one of the better players. I know it's obviously like you're picking from a pretty shit barrel at the moment, but like I definitely thought he was one of the better players. Like, yeah, honestly, like but yeah, I think that's good. I think as well he kind of proves the point where like you don't need to be going over to England. Like, we touched on this before. Like, could sing it until the cows come home, but you don't need to go over to England. England is not the be all and end all. Like, you could definitely do it in a foreign league. Like, and playing for Anderlecht, big club in Belgium, a lot of fans. Like, you'd like to see it, yeah. So fair dues to him. Hopefully, he keeps it up.
For sure. Next one, Anthony Scully, 21-year-old forward, scored again for Lincoln. That's 14 goals now for him this season. He's probably another one that could potentially be looked at for that summer camp or whatever you want to call it, but he's possibly one you might look at. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think as well, like it's good to see like younger players as well. Even if this League One or whatever, like just scoring a few goals, because at the moment, like we are kind of sparse with options, like, so definitely throw them in there. Like, why not? Like, seeing some of the quality of players being in our squads previously, like, I mean, you'd have someone who's like banging in goals on a regular, no matter what levels, have them in the squad. Like, we're starved for goals at the moment anyway.
Like Mark O'Riordan was on recently and he said, like, bring Owen Doyle. You would like to have seen Owen Doyle League Two at Bolton, but he has like 20 goals or 25 goals a season. But League Two feels like such a stretch.
League Two, the thing is, like, this is going to sound bad, but like in League Two, it's almost insulting. Like, I mean, like, it just is like to have like a League Two player. It's like, oh, come on. The only one I'd make an exception for is Wes. Wes maybe now, but like that's the only one I'd make an exception for, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Wesley.
100%. Wes won't have a bad word said about him. Socko, this man is maybe one that you have a lot of experience with, Callum Robinson, but he got on the score sheet for West Brom tonight. We touched on that earlier on, I think, didn't we? But he got a goal tonight against who was it against again? Southampton, I think.
Southampton, yeah. Destroyed Southampton as well. Southampton's terrible. Like,
he's finally chosen another club other than Chelsea to start scoring against. But both games against Chelsea this season, like, obviously I wouldn't really watch West Brom much. He's been really, really impressive. He's obviously getting better service into him, I think, for West Brom from what I've seen than Ireland. Like that ball into him for his first goal last weekend was like, and the finish was like world class, like so good. And obviously another goal there tonight. He's a player who I really have a soft spot for. He's the first player I've seen in a long time for Ireland that just can really just put the head down and beat a man and put a wicked ball in, like, across. He had a savage ball in there for Connolly, just missed in one of the games there, the last window. But if he can get a good few months in and impress Kenny in June, I think he has to start, like, come September.
He's technically, I think he's technically our best player at the moment. Like, he's on the ball. He's definitely our best player. Like, he's great. Even like finishing wise, he's our best player. Like, listen, it's not great. It's pretty bleak right now. But listen, he's a good player. Like, he definitely is. I think he's been unlucky as well. The fact that he went 39 games without scoring a goal against any team apart from Chelsea. He scores 5 and 3 against Chelsea, which is just like mental. But I think it was unlucky. Like, I remember he scored an offside goal. He scored an offside. Yeah, I know, man, nuts. Like, but he scored an offside goal against Arsenal. It was actually cracker. Like, it was such a nice goal. But I think West Brom are like it's mental. Like, 8 goals in 2 games. Like, mental.
Because I'd say West Brom are probably maybe not written off just yet, but they more than likely are going down this season. Would you see a Premier League team picking him up? Probably not. Like,
no, I don't think so. Who would be in for him? Like, do you know?
Yeah.
Maybe if one of the maybe the only thing, like, one of the teams that were coming up, maybe we're going in for him. But like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if he's like proven himself really to be Premier League quality. Like, he's had a few good games. Don't get me wrong. Like, and he's a good technical player, but I don't know if he's only like, he hasn't done quite enough, I'd say, for one of the bigger teams to be like, especially in that West Brom team as well. There's more players in that team that you'd ransack before him, like, you know, like
Pereira and stuff. Yeah,
O'Shea getting call up to the Premier League possibly if they do get relegated.
O'Shea possibly because he's young.
Diangana, Pereira.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I don't think Caltech Robinson would be one of the names that would get picked up. But to finish off tonight, lads. After the recent Finn Harps and Daily Mount news for Bows and Shells, it's been 3 years now since St. Pat's made their Richmond Arena proposal public. 3 years on, and it's still an empty field. The proposal was the stadium was to be built on top of a shopping centre, and Richmond Park was to be sold for housing and apartments. Apparently, it would have had many benefits for the local area. So it does feel like a shame that nothing has really come of that, and it doesn't feel like anything is in the works really at all. It is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it'd be huge for the area. Like so close to town, really close community over there, and like we've been to Pats before, and the fans are second to none. Like they're obsessed with the club, like a lot of League of Ireland clubs. But I think the more stadium redevelopments and investment in facilities, and especially like community initiatives, the better in the League of Ireland. We've seen the Finn Harps and Daily Mount, as you said, and the great work they've done in Tala in recent years. But yeah, it's disappointing, and like especially with COVID now, a lot of clubs will be short of cash, and unless there's a real strong desire to do something like that, it's very difficult to. When I think they've had to furlough their players last year as well, but if you're kind of struggling for a few bob, it's hard to turn around and say, geez, we should get the stadium redevelopment going again. 3 years on, like there's not much to chat about now.
No.
Yeah,
great.
Just one thing actually. I'm not gonna touch on the Richmond Arena thing, so I actually don't know enough about it. Like, so I'll pretend I do. But one thing I was actually a bit interested just in hearing your opinion, lads, was on the Bows artist officer. What do you think about that?
God. Fuck's sake! Was it a chief climate justice officer and the Bows artist officer now?
Yeah.
So what will be next? What will be next?
I was just interested in hearing it because I know you sent it to the group chat earlier, and I was trying to defend it a little bit. Like, I just thought it was funny. Like, I was like, every single club in the A-League will be doing this in 2 or 3 years. Like, mark my words.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like it's just one of the things that, like, I think to be fair, the officer thing is like, it makes it sound more official than it is. I think it's just geezers like making posters and drawing merch and stuff for Bros. But it's just one of those things where like you can just see like it doesn't play. It plays a whole lot into the whole, craft beer drinking, skinny jean wearing, hipster like Bows fans, like, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't help at all.
It doesn't. And artist officer.
Give it a rest. I think it's just what Keith Longside needs right now. I think they're definitely in a shout for the European spots after that.
Yeah, this might give them the boost just to push on now, I think.
Yeah.
The climate justice officer is what you're saying. If every team in 2 or 3 years will have these kind of officers in place. Now, if every team in the League of Ireland in 3 years' time has a climate justice officer, I will buy soccer with Finn Harps jersey. That's all I'm going to say. I will buy a Finn Harps jersey.
You'll have two then, soccer.
I'll have two.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, soccer. Do you think you will get the jersey in the end? Do you?
The Harps jersey or the Bows jersey?
Yeah. The Harps.
Why are you talking about the Bows jersey for? No one's talking about the Bows jersey.
You're breaking up here, Ross.
Lads, as always, your Monday nights, your week starts on LOI Fan TV. God.
Jesus Christ.
On Cautiously Optimistic, 8:00 start, and it doesn't get the week. It's a great start to the week. Doesn't get any better.
Blah 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 blah.
The usual shite, but does anyone? I think you don't think you checked it last week. Does anyone want to check the likes there quickly? I know we do this every week just to make sure we're on track. I'll take anything over 30.
I'll give it a quick look now.
Anything over 30 I'll take because we'll move our way up then.
29.
29.
So,
listen, if you are watching,
it's close.
If you're watching, please drop a like on it. We do really, really appreciate it. It does mean the world to us. And if you can subscribe as well, you can see it at the bottom of the screen. If you can subscribe to the channel, if you haven't done so already, it is greatly appreciated. And we do have a special treat for you guys. We mentioned it earlier on, but in case you weren't here for it, we do have a giveaway Trying to get it on the screen now. Yeah, there we go. You can win a League of Ireland jersey of your choice over on our Instagram. So you can go over there. I think it's only a few simple steps you have to follow, and you can go and win a League of Ireland jersey of your choice. You can also get a bonus entry as well by sharing it to your story. So doesn't really seem like any downsides to doing that. The link is in the bio to go over and do that. It is greatly appreciated, and it helps us out as well. Leaving a comment, a like, and stuff like that, and following us across our different platforms. TikTok as well. So much content coming on that. Twitter, plenty of updates there. And Socko and Griff, pleasure as bloody always.
Yeah, sound lads. Love it.
Thanks, bud.
Lovely stuff.
See you
Make sure
later,
to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Catch you in a bit.